All right, so we're going to go down to L.A. and go ahead and introduce our last eyewitness tonight, Peter.
Okay, I didn't know if you're going to take a break or not, but why
No,
don't
we'll
we
go right through it.
Right to Nancy. She's got a very, very similar story to tell. Our audience is going to be shocked by what she has to report as well. On, I think it was the 5th of June, not just 3 days ago, she saw something very similar to what Bonnie and Chelsea just described to us. And why don't we go to Nancy in Los Angeles and let her tell us what she saw.
Okay. Hi, Nancy. Welcome. Not there yet? All right. We're dialing. Let's see. I'm looking at my email.
In fact, by way of preface, Nancy is not the only person in the Los Angeles basin to see this display. And here's the interesting thing, Jeff.
She's online now. Go ahead, Peter.
Oh, the interesting thing is how few people report these displays. Thank heavens for the guests we've had on tonight who've come forward and reported what they saw.
Yep.
So why don't we go right to Nancy and let her tell us her story.
Okay. Hi, Nancy. Thank you for being here.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited about sharing my story with you guys.
Well, we want to hear it. All right. So what time of day and what were the conditions like? And what did you see?
Okay, so it was probably around 9:30, 9:40 p.m., nighttime. Clear skies, beautiful night out, pretty clear. So pretty much the way that it happened is I walked outside to my backyard to grab something, and I look up, and there's these lights in the sky. And at first I thought, wait, are those airplanes? What's going on right now? And there's this huge tree that we have in the backyard. So at first I had only noticed two of them. But as I waited, I stood there because I wasn't sure what it was. They kept moving, and as they were moving further away from the tree, I noticed that they were being followed by more. So pretty much the way that they were set up is two, and then it was a group of four in a sort of a trapezoid triangle shape, and behind them there were two more. And these were like orange lights. I actually sent pictures of them, but sadly, my Zoom wasn't that good, so in the picture, they look pretty small. But they were really big, really lit up. And immediately, I ran inside. I called my family, my brothers, my mom, my dad, and my boyfriend went outside, and they were just amazed. We had no idea what was going on. Really amazing sight that we saw. And the most interesting part is that as they were moving, they were grouped together, like I said, 2, 4, and 2. And they were equally spaced out. But then as one group stopped, the other one stopped, and then the next one stopped. So they were still for about a couple of seconds.
They'd pause one group, then the next group would pause. They didn't all stop together.
No. They all stopped one by one.
How strange.
Yeah, it was amazing. And then as they started moving again, once they reached a certain point, like the last viewers, they said they would just disappear. The exact same thing happened. They would just like disappear. No fade, no dim, nothing. They would just disappear.
Peter, I've not heard anything like this particular description before of three groups of unidentified objects stopping sequentially. Dead stop.
Isn't that interesting, Jeff?
That's fascinating.
Yeah, that's what assured me that it wasn't an airplane. It wasn't any type of craft.
That's a giveaway.
Like that. It could have. Yeah, it was just amazing. And I know a lot of people are saying, oh, they were Chinese lanterns. No. Like, people that are saying that, if they were to see this, they would be assured that it was something out of this world.
Yeah. Oh, I get the picture right away from hearing your voice. You're still excited about it.
Oh, it's just, I've always been intrigued by this kind of stuff. And so for me to actually witness something like this and to have other people see it with me and know that I'm not the one that's crazy is just amazing.
Yeah.
Well, that's remarkable. Who saw it with you again, please?
It was my mom, my dad, my brothers, and my boyfriend.
Yep. What did they say? What did your boyfriend say, for example?
Well, when I ran inside to call them, and they didn't want to come outside. They were like, oh, you're lying, stop joking. And I was like, no, please, just come outside, come see this. They ran outside, and they were just amazed. They were trying to figure out what it was. We just didn't know.
Yep.
Were these, all right, straight overhead, off to the side? Did they transit all the way across the sky or just part of the sky before they disappeared?
It was probably actually about part of the sky. I was facing towards the west. They were going towards the south, and they were spread out. Maybe like, I would say like a mile apart. Yeah, a mile of the sky, maybe a few feet apart from each other.
Color?
They had like an orange color to them.
Mm-hmm. And definitely round.
Yeah, round.
Ah.
Definitely.
Boy.
What did
how long did you see them
ahead.
again, Nancy? From start to finish, how long did the episode last?
I would say probably 2 to 3 minutes.
It's a generous amount of time when you're seeing something. Imagine how frustrating it would be, Nancy, to see something like that for 5 seconds.
Oh, man. I mean, even if I would have just seen 5 seconds of it, I would have been happy. I'm just glad that it was long enough for me to get a picture of it, have someone else look at it with me.
Yeah.
So, it's just amazing.
What did your folks say?
My mom, same thing. She definitely believes that there's something else out there, so she was just really happy.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately, she got on the phone, called my grandma. My grandma lives about a few blocks down. My grandma actually went outside and saw the same thing.
That's nice. Now, when these things stopped sequentially, first group, second group, third group, how long did they stay paused before they resumed their motion?
Not very long. I would probably say from like 8 to 10 seconds.
That's a long time, though. I mean, that's not just a pause. They absolutely stopped and did whatever it is they're doing, and then they started up again. Peter, have you heard anything like this before?
No, I haven't. This is a new one to me, too, Jeff. This is remarkable. And here's the really remarkable thing, Nancy. We have one other report from another individual in Los Angeles, but he has not submitted his written report yet. I invite you to consider how many people must have seen those lights, and yet we've had only 2 reports. Isn't that interesting?
Definitely.
So that tells you how remarkable, how rare a person you are to not only get to see something like that, but to have the fortitude and the follow-through to find the National UFO Reporting Center and then submit a written report. That is a rarity, and I compliment you for having done all of those things to get the information to us.
Thank you. I'd actually like to thank you, too, because, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that have seen it, but they just don't know what to do or where to go. And, I was just smart enough to look it up, find you, and hopefully, a lot of people that are listening right now and maybe they've witnessed something like that, they have that courage to step up and be like, you know what, maybe I can do something with this story and share it, because I'm sure there's a lot of people that have similar stories or that have seen other remarkable things that just don't know where to share their story.
Tens of millions of them. We estimate, my estimate is that out of 20,000 people like you and like the witnesses we've had on during this 2-hour program who've seen very, very interesting events that could have been UFOs, only 1 out of 20,000 will ever come forward.
Wow, that's amazing.
20,000. It's more interesting to me than the UFOs are.
Yes. And you want to know something really incredible, too? When I was looking up information on sightings and everything, I actually found this article about the increase of people that have been seeing all of these things in the United States and out of the United States in 2012. But honestly, I just feel like it's a lot of like the media that's helped. Now we have YouTube where people can actually post their stories. So I'm sure that even before this time, there's been tons of people that have seen things, just that the media is now helping us so much getting through to people.
Well, they're doing a little bit better. It's kind of homemade media when you're talking about YouTube uploads, which is great. And you have an iPhone camera that can record for, depending on the size of storage medium, a lot of stuff. So it's becoming more accessible to people all the time. The idea of 1 out of 20,000, Peter, it may be a lower ratio than that. I don't. No. I honestly, we got L.A., how many people live there, Nancy? 4 million?
A lot. Yes, a lot.
Yep. And only 2 people come forward. That's remarkable.
That's
oh, don't forget, she and her boyfriend, her mom and dad, and then grandma. So we got 5 out of 4 million.
Right.
But they haven't reported it. What I'd invite you to do, Nancy, is try to get your other family members to sit down and independently of you and your story and your sighting, have them submit reports as well if they would.
Yes, I would love to do that. I'll let them know, and I'll get them to do that right away.
Okay. Boy,
all right. Thank you
story.
very much. That was really a good report. I've never heard one like it. I've never heard of anything stopping like that and then resuming. And one last question. How many times did the group stop and then start that you noticed?
It was only once.
All right, once
only
is enough.
Only one time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive. Thank you very much, Nancy.
Thank you, guys.
Nancy. You bet.
Bye.
Good night. Okay, well, that's a group of people, and I, again, thank you for putting them together, but I guess more than that, we should thank all of them for being available to come on and share their stories, because without people like that, and, well, without people like Peter Davenport, we wouldn't hear about any of this. Also, interestingly enough, on the Internet, UFO ET sites comprise the second most numerous type of site in the Internet. It's number 2. A huge number of websites about UFOs and ETs. But even those seem to, I think most of them don't get any traffic. They're numerous, but when we see good YouTube video and hear reports like you've been able to provide for us tonight, then we really get an idea of this. And for anyone who'd like to make a report about something they saw last year, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, it doesn't matter. You can do it right now. Just go to UFOcenter.com and fill out the eyewitness report form. And even go there if you haven't seen anything, in case you do. And if somebody says to you they saw something amazing, tell them how to get in touch with Peter online and fill out the form. Without a record, we don't have anything.
Yep. And most people don't report. The gentleman we heard from St. Louis, we heard him say there was a traffic accident, there were cars stopping, people getting out of their cars apparently, but they didn't stop to think that they have to report it for it to do any good. If this information stays between their ears, it doesn't do any good. The public doesn't know about it. So you have to sit down, type up a short written account, spell check it, and submit it as a report to the National UFO Reporting Center. Then we can post it. Might even have the people who submit those reports on this radio program to share with our audience, Jeff, what they saw. But we got to get the reports for it to do any good. Most people don't report them, as I mentioned earlier.
No, they don't. No, hardly anybody does. And what's strange is when you have such a stunning sighting like this one over L.A., and again, I go back to the issue of stopping and starting.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
they stopped for 8 to 10 seconds, and then I guess I don't know. I didn't ask her if they started up sequentially or as a mass, but in any case, stopping in a sequence, 2, 4, and 2, one after the other, is a sign of obvious intelligent operation somewhere, somehow.
They're self-propelled. They're not Chinese lanterns.
No. What they are, we don't know, but that's why they call them unidentified flying objects. Thank you, my friend. That was just fascinating.
Thanks for the
Great
2
folks.
hours, Jeff. Enjoyed it. I think we brought a lot of really interesting information to our audience tonight.
Well, we certainly did. Thank you. I'll talk to you soon.
Yep. Good night.
Good night.